Hey there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today is day 2 of in-floor heat on the main floor. If you missed day 1, I will link it, I don't know, one of these corners. It's up here somewhere. Probably this one, I think. Yeah, I'll link it up here. You can check out day 1 of making some of the parts that we're using today. But today I have to actually run some of the pipe. I have the return bends that I made already set up, run. Those are screwed down to the floor. And then, so today it's really just running some pipe and then nailing down those heat plates and putting in the sleepers. So first time I've done this, so thought I'd take you along for the ride, see how it goes, and I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm editing this video together and realized I didn't really explain what I'm doing. So as you can see there on the sides, those are those returns that I made in the last video that I referenced. I got all those screwed in, and that kind of gives me my layout of where the pipes are gonna go. And now I'm basically just taking a coil of 300-foot pipe and running it between each of the loops. And then I have just a little spacer board, the same size as what my sleepers are gonna be. I'm just using that to space them all out. And then I'm just nailing the fins down to the ground. And that's basically holding the tubes in place. And then those heat transfer plates are gonna give us what we need. This side is a little bit different. This one, we're actually doing the heat transfer plates on top of the sleepers. So you can kind of see how I do that there. And that's kind of what we did for the whole house. And that wraps up my in-floor loop running. All those are all set to go now. You can kind of see behind me here, kitchen is done, entryway is done, and then back behind you over here, the living room is all done. So that is a whole bunch of pipes. For the most part, I ran them all like these here, where the fins are actually on top of the pipes, and then the sleepers will go down in between. So here, this is kind of what it looks like. So you can kind of see here, so I got the pipe over here, and then there's fins on top of it, and then hi Tim, sleepers will go here in between. And I have a mock-up of it over here. I guess you can see this a little better. So this is how that'll look. But then I guess for where you're gonna put tile, they say to do it the opposite way. So here, I put the sleeper down first, and then the aluminum fin, and then ran the pipe inside of there. So those took a little longer to actually run. But that's what they say to do. The only problem is now my tile guy, which is also my brother-in-law, so who really cares if he thinks, right? He's complaining that he thinks that little lip of that aluminum might be a little bit too much. It might be in the way of his underlayment, so he might have to do a little extra work. So I guess we'll see what happens, but that is done. So now I need to hook up my manifold downstairs, and then we'll get that pressure tested. So let's head downstairs and we'll get that hooked up, give you a good time lapse of me working on that. So here I'm just nailing up a couple last pipes for the basement here that came in from the other side. And then hooking up the manifolds basically as easy as sliding the pipes in, sliding a little friction collar in there, and just screwing them down. And that's all there is to it. Manifold's hooked up, all the lines are run. You saw all those loops upstairs. Saw me all connect all these pipes. That was super easy. Hopefully they don't leak. So that's kind of what we gotta test now. Have a pressure gauge took up here, got the air chuck. The goal is to pressure test this. So if there's an expert out there, please let me know if I'm doing this right or not. I just did a quick Google search as to what pressure you're supposed to test this at. One article said at least 100 PSI, don't do anything less than that. The next article I read said never go more than 100 PSI. So I have no idea what the right solution is. I actually found this manifold is made by Uponor, and they actually have a document on their website about how to pressure test it. And they say to condition the pipe at 1.5 times pressure test, and then they say to pressure test at 40 PSI. So what I'm gonna do is pump this up to 60 PSI, and then check it every few minutes, and if it drops pressure, that's fine. I'm just gonna put a little more air into it, because I guess this pipe can actually expand just a little bit when you first run air through it. So 60 PSI for a half hour, top it off as needed. After that half an hour, it should be stabilized. I'll drop it down to 40 PSI, and then let it run for like anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours. So probably 24 hours, better safe than sorry. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fill it up. Okay, I think we're good. I got it set to 60 PSI, let it sit there for a half hour. I don't hear any leaks coming out of the manifold, and that's most likely the place I have leaks, so we'll see what happens. I'll check back in a little bit. All right, it's been a half an hour. No leaks, nothing's really changed here. I maybe lost like a half a PSI, so I think we're good to go. I will drop this down to 40 PSI. We'll let it sit for, I don't know, a day or so, half a day, whatever, probably till tomorrow. And hopefully we're good to go.
Good news, passed my pressure test. I had a little bit of an issue actually. Some of the testing equipment that I had actually had a leak in it, so kind of made it really hard to test with. But I got that straightened out, ran it for 24 hours, didn't lose any pressure, so we are good to go. And then also the inspector came today and we passed inspection. So I am good to cover up this floor now. I'm going to put my sleepers in now, that's the next step. And then probably the next video we'll actually start laying the hardwood floor. So let's wrap up this video by doing some sleepers. So these sleepers, really the only point in these is to make the floor level and give me something to attach whatever my final floor is going to be to it, whether it be the tile in the entryway there, or wood floor where you're looking at it right now, or carpet in the bedrooms, or whatever it may be. That's pretty much the only reason for the sleepers, is just to make it level, make everything nice and even. One added benefit though, it definitely makes the floor way more solid. After putting this extra layer of 3/4 in, the whole floor a lot more solid, so that's definitely a bonus. But what these sleepers are basically just 3/4 inch plywood. Cheapest thing I could find was at Menards, so that's what I went with. 3/4 inch plywood, and then my uncle actually has a straight line rip saw. If you don't know what that is, YouTube it. It's pretty awesome. We just use that. So we took I think there's something like 30 or 40 sheets here that we ripped down, just under 8 inches wide, and just ripped them all down. And now I'm just cutting them to length and throwing them in here. So yeah, sleepers basically just level out the floor, but sure does make it look nice and sure does make it nice and strong. Boom! I love it when I get to check projects off the list. Sleepers, radiant heat for this room is done. Kitchen, living room, dining room, entryway, pantry, half bath, done, ready to go. So the next step is in-floor heat. No, next step's not in-floor heat. Next step is hardwood floor. We have to get that done by Friday because they are putting in our countertops and they have waterfall edges on them, and that's got to touch the floor. So the floor's got to be done. So next step is hardwood floors. Hopefully gonna start laying that this afternoon actually. So that'll be the next video most likely. Start laying some hardwood floors and then finishing it next week in time for them to cure in time for the countertops to go in. So that is it for the video. That was fast talking. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Have a great day.